This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Well, we always love getting this man on, and if you've got a question for Dr. Roch, you can get involved now, 13 24 10. But he's also here because this is really important, actually. Footy finals have kicked off. AFL's already started. The NRL kicks off this weekend as well. And Drinkwise have got on board, basically saying we need to be respectful and responsible ahead of the upcoming final series when it comes to drinking. And this man is right behind that. Dr. Andrew Rochford, welcome!
Hello.
Welcome. What does that mean? What does that mean? How do you do the footy finals respectfully?
Well, I mean, I think when it comes to Drinkwise and the footy finals, I think what Drinkwise is doing here, they've got to behind both the AFL, the AFLW, the NRL, the NRLW, just trying to get people to understand that, yes, we can enjoy the football without drinking too much. We have to think about others around us, whether we're at the football stadium, whether we're at home, and it's always respect and always Drinkwise. And I think that it's important for everybody to not necessarily, just focus on themselves, having the best possible time. We're not trying to kill the fun here, but we're just trying to make sure that we're looking out for each other.
Mm-hmm. Actually, do you know what, Roch? I didn't realise how much influence your parents have on you growing up, because my mother and father were very social growing up, had a lot of friends. Sport was a huge part of that, but every weekend I remember Mum and Dad would go to somebody's house after sport and they would drink. So the drinking culture, I think, to be honest, it's changed a little bit, but you are right. When people are so passionate about their football team and after a few drinks, you get louder, you get angrier, and you've got to realise that your kids are watching every one of your moves. Every one of your moves.
Absolutely. And we have seen it. And the whole part of when I first started with Drinkwise was all through that campaign about, generational drinking and how we pass that on to our kids and our behaviours. But, your kids are starting to set themselves up for, how are they going to behave, when it comes to the future and they're out and about having a few drinks by themselves.
Yeah, and also I think that when you talk about sport, we tend to think that watching sport goes hand in hand with drinking. When you're talking about drinking wise and being respectful, there is also a big part of the population who wants to be allowed to watch sport and not have a drink at all.
We have changed a lot as a nation, and the statistics are backing that up. We are very different now when it comes to our drinking culture. Yeah. I'm seeing now with my son and that generation, they view alcohol very, very differently.
Do they?
Absolutely. It's very different. And I think that with sport, we also need to start, changing it. You can enjoy sport without drinking. Yeah. And you can also enjoy, being out with family and with friends. But I think if you are somebody that does find it hard, there are things you can do. And, 1-800-RESPECT, the men's referral service, and 13 Yarn, there are things that you can do to help yourself to then help everyone around you.
What's the medical advice on the amount of alcohol these days, Roch?
Yeah, so there's the guidelines that come out of the NH and MRC are constantly being changed. So that's the National Health and Medical Research Council. Mm-hmm. It's a lot less than you think it is. It's about the standard number of drinks per week, and alcohol-free days are very important. And I think ultimately what people need to understand is a standard drink is not usually a standard drink that we all pour. And so, I think minimising, particularly, around, obviously through pregnancy and through breastfeeding, we know, and, we've just had the FASD, which is the Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Day, which is, again, another opportunity for us to talk to a community of people that are struggling. And through that, the recommendation is zero alcohol at all. And so I think it's really about everybody starting to recognise that alcohol is changing. It's not about, killing the fun, but it's also about recognising how does it fit in and how do you go from just enjoying a few drinks, and the science behind it says it's not, that excuse that red wine's good for you. I mean, science that's moved on from that.
Okay.
It's not good for you.
Are we?
We're past that.
You're going to drop that one.
So bad luck you cannot use that excuse.
We still okay with coffee, though?
Yeah, coffee. Yeah, we can. I'm not changing that one.
Responsible vaping over the finals? Because I know Kate likes to have a few in front of me.
Oh, yeah, I do. When I take my daughter to the footy, it's a meat pie and a vape.
You knew it was going to end up there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Roch, every time we have you on the show, the lines go mad. People want to ask questions. Nat is in Glenworth Valley. You have Dr. Rochford here with you, Nat.
Good morning, Dr. Rochford. I just have a question around COVID and how dangerous is it still at the moment? Boss wants me coming back into work. I'm really apprehensive, a little bit worried. I've got elderly parents I've got to take care of as well. So where are we at with it at the moment, and how dangerous?
COVID is still COVID. Yeah, it is still dangerous, particularly for the elderly and the vulnerable and the immunocompromised. And so for the rest of us, I think we've obviously seen a change in how it's impacting us, and that's a lot to do with people having caught the disease or being immunised. And so now we do have some immunity against it, but it's still very dangerous for a percentage of the population. The recommendation is that if you are positive and you still have COVID, you should be isolating for up to 5 days, particularly if you have symptoms.
Right.
And that's not so much about yourself. It's more just about reducing the spread and the impact on those that can have a very poor outcome if they do get COVID.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for the call,
No
Nat.
worries.
Bye, Nat.
Thanks, Nat. We're going to go to, is it Vanessa in Beacon Hill? Ness, you got Dr. Andrew Rochford. He's all yours.
Great. Hello, Doctor. So my son has recently broken his arm, and I'm just worried now that it will always be weak, and he'll just, keep breaking it more. You know how boys are adventurous. So is this something I should just be worried about?
No, bones are wonderful things. They do heal. And as long as he's looking after the break now and it heals well, the weakness, there should be no ongoing weakness. So it takes about 6 weeks for any fractured bone to get all the osteoclast and osteoplast. I'm just saying fancy words now. You guys don't even know what I'm saying.
So
Sounded
impressive,
good.
Dr.
Anyway,
Rochford.
these are...
What about growth plates, Doc? We always hear about growth plates in kids, and if they fracture or break something, everyone freaks out. Oh, their arm's not going to grow as long as the other one. Is that true?
No, not necessarily, but we do take it a little bit more seriously when there is a fracture that goes through a growth plate.
Right.
And again, it's about making sure you're getting the right treatment and, keeping a young boy from moving around too much and immobilising. That is a challenge in and of itself.
Yeah.
But as long as they go through the treatment, they're getting all the rehabilitation, all the physiotherapy and everything that comes after it, the likelihood is that in later life they'll have very few challenges.
Roch, there's a couple of, I don't know if they're urban myths, but there's a couple of exercises people do to find out how tall your child's going to be.
Yes.
Can you do that?
So what's the classic one? You measure your child at the age of 2 and then you double it.
Yes, and then you double it.
Yes. And so we did that for my son.
It was quite accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we measured him because we wanted to see his biggest goal was always to be taller than me, and he is taller than me. So I can't remember exactly what
How tall are you?
So I'm 6'4", and he is 6'4.5", 6'5". That was the greatest day in his life when he went past his old man.
Oh my God!
I reckon I'd still take him down in a one-on-one, Greco-Roman
you should have
wrestling.
too many drinks at his 18th birthday party. And,
as an ambassador for Drink Life, that's exactly what I'll be doing, Kate Ritchie.
Jenny is in Cronulla. Hello, Jenny.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good, Jen. Dr. Rochford's here with your question.
Hi, Dr. Rochford. I was just wondering about old medication, or I had a surgery about 6 months ago, and I've got some old pain relief in the cupboard still, and I was just wondering if it's okay to use it if I need it now, rather than going back to the doctors. I know we hear about
out-of-date meds.
Yes.
So in general terms, if medication goes past its expiry, pain relief or antibiotics, there's a reason why there's an expiration. It's probably less likely to be potent, and so you may have lost some of its. There are some medications that can become a little bit dangerous, and I guess it comes down to what you're using them for. I mean, Whipper calls me all the time about medication that he's had for surgeries in the past, but I don't. Is it for pain that you're using them for, Whip?
It's different sort of medication. It's called finasteride and Propecia.
Don't go. And what about the milk? If the milk goes off, how many days do you give that in the fridge?
If you really want to make yourself sick.
I've still got pain relief tablets from a knee reconstruction, I reckon around about 4 or 5 years ago. I honestly believe that I could still use him if I'm in a fair bit of pain.
What,
but
Endone?
no, I can't anymore, Doc.
I would say
Just
no.
say no.
I would say
no.
Are you struggling that much that you can't get new pain relief?
No, but you know
4
what?
or 5 years.
I mean, that's the strongest pain relief that you can get when you come out of a knee reco. And I've never really gone to the doctor saying I need strong pain relief, but I've always had them there thinking if something does go wrong, I can get quick pain relief straight away.
Do not reach for the out-of-date heavy-duty painkillers if something goes wrong. Fitz,
do you mean?
just pick the phone up and call me, all right?
No, Doc, it's always a pleasure. And like we said, for all parents out there with the kids around and footy finals around, this is a great initiative with DrinkWise. Just be respectful around the kids, and we really appreciate your time, Roch. Thanks for coming in.
No, my absolute pleasure. Thank you, guys. Enjoy your weekend, and always respect, always drink wise. That's what I have to say.
Thank you, buddy.
Fitz in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.